All right, good morning, traders. Today is January 21st, 2025. Thank you for being here. Thank you to all of our new trial members. By the way, going to have a special orientation for all our new trial members so you guys can get the most out of the room here. Starting tomorrow morning, I'm going to create an orientation program for you guys so you can get orientated and get the most out of your BYOB service. So that starts tomorrow morning, okay? Remember, I'll do the video at 8, and then after the video, we're going to do an orientation so you can get the most out of the room. All right, okay, let's get going. Again, thank you for being here. I want to thank everybody out there in digital land, all right? Thank you, Cyberland. Thank you for trusting me to guide you. Thank you for putting your faith in me to help you grow as a trader. All right, appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, just remember, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm simply showing you what works for me. Okay. All right, my SPY pivot this morning is not 590. Is 597.70, okay? Doesn't remain, it's 597.70. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. All of the Fab 5 are in daily downtrends. Caveat, this morning in the pre-market, we have some new highs that convert and negate the downtrends. I did see one in SPY. I did not check QQQ or FNGU or some of the other indexes. So as of this morning, SPY has converted the daily downtrend into the uptrend. We'll see what the daily candle looks like after the market opens, but as of right now, SPY did make a higher high, negating the downtrend. Okay, so anyways, before this morning, all were in downtrends, all made higher highs and higher lows, closing over their bullish traps and over their 17 EMA. So who are the Fab 5? It's Diamond Dow, DIA, SPY, SPY, okay, QQQ, that's the NASDAQ 100, IWM, okay, it's the Russell 2000, and Diamond Dow, which is the Dow Jones Industrial Index, okay, so, and then there's the FNGU, which is an ETN, with probably with 10 of the highest capitalized stocks, securities in the QQQ and the SPY, okay? So we follow that one quite often. All right, so SPY closed with a 2-hour uptrend, 10-minute downtrend. Gold and silver, both in uptrends, daily uptrends, made lower lows and lower highs. Gold closed with over a bullish trap over the 17, while silver closed inside a bullish trap over the 17. USO, UNG, both in uptrends, both kind of hot. Like to see them cool off. UNG made a lower high and a lower low, closing inside a bullish trap over the 17. USO made an inside day, closing inside a bullish trap over the 17. US dollar index still in an uptrend. Did have a big pullback yesterday. Pulled back to 108.10 area. All right, so they're showing a head and shoulders on that. Anyways, let's go take a look at some charts. Oh, and before we take a look at our charts, just want to recognize that my friend Doug is going to have an open house on the 27th from 9:30 to 4. That's Monday, the 27th. So that's about 6 days from now. Okay, on the 27th in his room, and I will provide a link a little bit later on here in my description so you can register for that open house. All right, over at Right Way Options. So here's my friend Doug. He runs Right Way Options, and if you want to go in there and learn a little more, he does very great. He does awesome job explaining options. So if you want to stop in there. All right, so let's get out of there. Let's get out of there. Let's go see SPY. Let's take a look at SPY on the daily chart. Okay, right here. Here's SPY on the daily chart. That's this morning's candle. This would be Friday's candle. Okay, higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap, okay? See the 3 EMA, that's the yellow line, thin line right there, closing over that thin line right there, the thin yellow line. So we got the faster moving averages up over the 2 slower ones, okay? The 8 EMA is the white one, all right? And then the dots represent the 17 EMA, okay? So we've got the candle and the faster moving average up on top of the 2 slower moving averages, providing a space in between these two and these two. That's an uptrend, okay? So SPY's kind of in an uptrend as of this morning, okay? So that's the trap, all right inside there. So you can see price action making a higher high. Here's the last high over the 17, okay? Here's the last high. You can see in the morning we made a higher high than right here, okay? We'll see what the candle looks like once it opens up. Something to recognize here, okay? And I'm going to go down to the 2-hour chart so you can see it, okay? So here's our 2-hour chart. Actually, just go ahead and go to the 30. Here it is, the 3-bar chart. You can see on the 3-bar chart we have a 2-hour uptrend right here. I'll just go to the 2-hour uptrend right through there. See that? Price candles and the 3 up over the other 2. That's the white one. That's the 8 EMA and the 17 EMA with some space in between. Okay, so that's a 2-hour uptrend right there. Okay, so on the 2-hour chart, let's back out here so you can see the whole picture. Okay, so here's some resistance as we came up to it in November. Okay, price action pulls back midway through November and rallies up through, comes back and tests this area. So we are in, right now, as of this morning, we are in a resistance zone. Don't know what's going to happen. We may melt up through it. All right, again, we play the 10-minute or the 15-minute chart until the trend ends, and then we get out. Okay, it's important to know that if you're going to play the game plan for the SPY or the QQQ, you are approaching a resistance area. There will be some profit taking. It's the big fat whole round number, 600, okay? All right, there will be some resistance here. This is normal, okay? What we'd like to see is price melt up through it. We may consolidate underneath it. We might consolidate inside it. If we make it through, I hope we consolidate on top of it, okay? That's what I'd like to see. But as of right now, 2-hour chart, we have a 2-hour uptrend, all right? As of the daily chart, according to this morning, with the pre-market action, we have now negated the downtrend and we are now in an uptrend, okay, on SPY, okay? Remember, they didn't beat it by much, all right? It's just a little wick up here, okay? So important to remember that, and we're in a resistance zone right through here. Right down, see the bottoms of these valleys right here. See these valleys? Okay, that'll be resistance as we head up through there. That's 602.58. Okay, all right, let's go to the 10-minute chart. On the 10-minute chart, on Friday, we left off with candle and the 3 down here, and the white and the dots up here, the 17. That's the 8 EMA and the 17 up there. So we had ourselves a little 10-minute downtrend or 10-minute pullback. All right, so 10-minute downtrend going through there into the close just before the post-market, pre-market took off this morning. Okay, so there's 10-minute downtrend going into the close. All right, and then 2-hour, on the 2-hour, notice we had a 2-hour uptrend going into the close. Okay, let's hit the game plan. All right. So the game plan this morning, okay? All right, so here's our game plan. All right, here's the pivot, 597.07. This is where price action came up to in the morning area and then came back and tested in the afternoon and evening area right through here. 597 area right here. So above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Okay? If price washes out and decides to break through this 596.06 area, in other words, if we have candles that close down here, all right, that will be my bearish entry for a gap fill down to the all-time high anchored VWAP, which is this pink line right here. Okay? On the upside, where we have green erases red, red is going to be this pullback area right through here. I'm going to box it off. So all of that, that's the pullback. So if green erases the red and I get candles closing up here, okay, up over 599.20, all right, that will be my entry, okay? I just don't want to buy a little doji candle like that, okay? I don't want to buy a topping wick candle like that one right there at the end of my cursor, okay? Because let's look at those candles, all right? Doji says bulls and bears, all right, were equal throughout that, okay? There's no control for the bulls. I want a candle where the candle says the bulls controlled the ball or the bulls controlled the price, okay? Notice on this one we have way more wick than body and tail, okay? The bears were operating up here, okay? And they actually kind of controlled the candle much better than the bulls did. Yes, it wound up green. Yes, it made a higher low and a higher high. But nonetheless, the bears were operating up here. And you can see they controlled the price action better than the bulls did. Okay, now on this one, notice the body and tail are more than 51%. Okay, than the wick up here, okay? So the bulls are making advancements. So that shows me that's the one I want to buy into. I want to buy a decent green candle. I don't want to buy a doji. I don't want to buy a topping wick candle. And I don't want to buy a red candle either, okay? Because a red candle says the bears are operating and they're controlling the price at that time. Okay, so I don't want to buy that, I don't want to buy that, and I certainly don't want to buy that. Okay, so that's the kind of candle I'm looking for as an entry in this morning. Again, important to remember, okay, up here, we're into resistance. Okay, so you might think about, keeping your stops or these 10-minute uptrends may not work out. Okay, I'm just saying that they may go up and then have a pullback. Okay, it's this complete possibility. We're up into a resistance area. All right, again, we'll try to stay with them as long as they continue to perform. As long as the 3 remains over the 8 and those 2 remain over the 17, I'd like to stay in my trade until I either get bearish engulfing or I get some type of 3 crossing the 8 on one of the lower time frames, whether it's a 5 or a 3, okay? Might be time to start taking my profits. So probably a good idea to have maybe a 5-minute RSI up. If you see things starting to roll over, all right, chances are you're going to want to tighten up your stop so you're not going to lose any of your gains this morning, okay? Remember, we're operating in a resistance zone with a bullish trade, okay? The success rate, we don't know what it's going to be, all right? We want it to melt up through. I would like a nice, slow melt up through, or get all jacked up, go up there fast, and hopefully pull back and remain on top of 602.58. We'll see what happens, okay? So that's the plan this morning, all right? QQQ, got the same plan going on, okay? Let's hit the QQQ. All right, QQQ, game plan for QQQ. It's about the same thing, all right? So QQQ, pivot right here, 521.17. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. You break, all right? If if the bears, all right, erase all of this green, all right, then I'm looking for candles to close down here, all right, and a possible gap fill all the way down to 513.09, all right. So there's the game plan. Okay, below this area right here, 519.50, candles close here. It's a bearish entry for price to come all the way down and fill gap. Maybe they do a partial gap fill. Maybe they do a complete gap fill. We'll see what happens, all right? On the bullish side, okay? Price up over, so here's the pullback, right up over this red candle here, okay, 523.08. That's a bullish entry. Again, we don't want any topping wick candles. We don't want any red candles. And we don't want any doji candles, okay? We want a clear sign, bulls stepping in, and they're going to melt it up or trade it all the way up through that resistance zone. Okay, so bullish entry over 523.08. Okay, let's go to the QQQ daily chart. All right, let's look at the price action. So, big long tail there. Nice. That shows me bulls, even though it was red, we're operating. Notice the bears pushed it down, the bulls pushed it right back up. Okay, so QQQ, mainly technology, higher low, higher high, closing over the bullish trap, over the 17 EMA, right up here, still in quadrant 4, all right, and we're measuring from our August low up to our all-time high. Okay, still up in quadrant 4, we are bullish up here. Okay, that's QQQ. Okay, higher low, higher high. Notice they have not made a new high. SPY has in the pre-market. QQQ has not. Okay, QQQ still in a downtrend. All right, let's take a look at FNGU. FNGU, higher low, higher high, closing over the bullish cross, over the 17 EMA. Still underneath the all-time high anchored VWAP there. Like to see that climb on top of that. All right, we'll see what it wants to do. All right, so there's FNGU on the daily chart. Still in a downtrend. All right, as of this morning, SPY is still in a downtrend. The daily candle won't get printed until we start at 9:30. Maybe it opens up there. We'll see what happens. So FNGU, QQQ, SPY still in downtrends. SPY ready to negate that downtrend this morning. Okay, so there's FNGU still in a downtrend. Let's take a look at IWM. All right, here's IWM on the daily chart. See the all-time high. This is the anchored VWAP price action coming up to meet that falling all-time high anchored VWAP right there. Price action for Friday is a higher low and a higher high, closing over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. Okay, price action did not make a higher high, so it's still in a downtrend. As of this morning, it looks like they will negate the downtrend. If they manage to print a candle up over here, negate the downtrend and convert the uptrend. Okay, so there's IWM. All right, let's take a look at Diamond Dow. Still, remember IWM, still in a downtrend. All right, Diamond Dow. Diamond Dow is in an uptrend. No, still in a downtrend. No, still uptrend right here. Okay, Diamond Dow converted. They're in an uptrend now. Okay, so my bad. Not all of the Fab 5 are in downtrends because we do have a high over the 17 and we made a higher high right there. So Diamond Dow now in a bona fide uptrend for me. All right, so here's Diamond Dow making a higher high yesterday, Friday. Higher low, higher high, closing over the bullish trap, over the 17 EMA. Price action for Diamond Dow in an uptrend, making that higher high right there. Okay, let's fan this out. And let's take it all the way back to the August low. You can see price action on Friday closed in the upper quadrant up here over the 17, over the bullish trap, converting the uptrend, negating the downtrend. Nice work on Diamond Dow up here, closing up in quadrant 4. All right, so Diamond Dow hits uptrend status on Friday. All right, let's go take a look at our technicals. T2122. We were in the overbought zone all day Friday, making the bears uncomfortable and drinking their beers. All right, on T2123. Okay, got ourselves on the 15-minute time frame. Look at all the green 15-minute 17 EMA balls right there. See the dots? Nice 17 uptrend, 15-minute uptrend right there on the 17. Price action, look at this, gapping up, all right? When price gaps up and the bears fail to fill it, okay, the bulls are operating and they're doing it nicely. So we got to give the advantage to the bulls, okay? The bears aren't filling any gaps, okay? So I kind of want to lean my bias a little more for the bulls, even though we were in daily downtrends in the shorter time frames. Price is gapping up and the bears are failing to fill those gaps. Okay, so I'm going to remain bullish until we're not. Okay, might not be long, all right, because we're approaching resistance. Anyways, price closing up over a falling 17 there, okay, and kind of rubber band bouncing out of this area, which is a prior all-time high right here, this light green line. This is another prior all-time high. Possibility price slings all the way back up to here, and we'll see if they can break through and consolidate on top of it. That would be nice. Then we'd have ourselves an inverse head and shoulders. All right, we'll see what happens. Right now, we're just on top of the falling 200, okay? And we're on top of a prior all-time high. Like to see price continue. Not sure if it's got it in it, but we just closed a bearish gap right here, and it looks like they filled a bearish gap here, okay? Whenever we start filling those bearish gaps, that's a good sign. Okay, so T2123, you can see we're in the buy zone, the overbought zone. We can hang out here, even though it says overbought, we could hang out here for a while. This is usually an area where price reverses out of. We could hang out here for, gosh, I've seen it hang out here for like 10 days straight sometimes. All right, it's been a while. It's been a long time. All right, like back in COVID. All right, so there's T2123, 15-minute chart. T2123, 3-bar chart. Okay, notice the 200, all right, is flat here. Notice we've changed the color of the 17 EMA. They were red, okay, now they're green. All right, we'll see how much longer if we can continue with this, okay? So price action bouncing off of this prior all-time high. Okay, so price action right here, you can see we put in 3 more green candle bars on Friday for the 3-bar chart T2123. Okay, let's take a look at FNGU. Okay, we have ourselves a downtrend line on FNGU. Okay, price action on Friday managed to bully all day. Green from beginning of the day to the end of the day. Got one red candle here. Looks like a pullback to test the 200. All right, there's a falling 200. We tested the backside of that falling or dipping 200. Tested the backside and bounced off there. Okay, we didn't make any higher highs yet, and they're still trying to do it this morning. You can see they're struggling with this area. So what is that? That is the all-time high anchored VWAP, okay? Need price to get on top of that and hold for like 3 days, okay? That all-time high anchored VWAP. So here's price action. You can see we bullied all day Friday, green from beginning of the day to the end of the day, spending most of our time up over regular VWAP, which is the burnt orange line, okay? and on top of the falling 200. We just got caught underneath this all-time high anchored VWAP. That's the pink line right through there. Okay, good news is we're on top of the falling 200. Okay, be nice to get on top of the falling all-time high anchored VWAP. Be nice to get on top of the downtrend line. Recognize where we are, people. All right, we are near a downtrend line. This would be called diagonal resistance. Okay, this would be moving average resistance, this all-time high anchored VWAP. Okay, and you noticed on SPY I showed you the resistance zone where price action has come up there and fallen away before. Okay, so maybe we get through it, maybe we don't. We'll see what happens. Again, we're going to play the 10-minute uptrends until they fail. All right, once they're done, we need to get out and just kind of see where price action goes. Doesn't mean we go bearish, all right, until we see red erase green. All right, so there's FNGU bullying up to the diagonal resistance right through here. All right, let's go take a look at a few sectors. All right, first sector we'll look at is XLE, energy on fire. Start with this one. All right, energy on fire. Still in a downtrend. All right, because they have to take out this high in order to negate the downtrend. I think they'll probably put in a lower high and then challenge it and beat it later on. Okay, it's possible they continue this rip and take out this high. That's a possibility. All right, price action for XLE closing up here over the all-time high anchored VWAP, and it's been 3 days straight closing over the all-time high anchored VWAP. That is a bullish outlook. Okay, price action up over the bullish trap. The bullish trap is almost vertical right now. Price action for Friday, lower, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher high, closing over the trap, over the rising 17 EMA. Okay, so let's just extend this because there's a possibility they get their heads on the back side of this. You can kind of see it happening right there. And all I'm doing is connecting the lows, okay? Just connecting the lows of prior price action. And here we are hitting our heads on the back side of this uptrend. So we'll see what happens, all right? Need to climb on top and hold that area. We'll see. There's XLE still in a downtrend, but definitely not moving down, all right? So nice work on XLE climbing back into the upper quadrant up here and holding for 5 days over all-time high anchored VWAP. All right, a little bit hot. Like to see it cool off, maybe consolidate underneath here. That would be nice. We'll see what happens. There's XLE on the daily chart in a downtrend, but definitely not moving down anymore. All right, not for a while. Let's take a look at UNG. All right, here's UNG, have a little pullback. All right, UNG, Friday's price action, lower high, lower low, closing inside bullish trap over the 17 EMA. UNG on the daily chart in an uptrend, making higher lows and higher highs. Got ourselves a little pullback to the 17. Like to see a pullback to this area right here. That would be a nice buy zone right through there, right on top of that peak, right on top of this peak and this peak right here. Anywhere in here would be a nice buy zone if we get a pullback to this area. Okay, right back to the midpoint and a prior peak, all right, between two valleys. All right, so there's UNG. That would be a nice area to buy. I'd like to see bulls step in here first. Okay, I'd like to see the bulls show up. Just not meander in here. They could melt all the way back through. Okay, like to see the bulls show up. So that would pique my interest to buy the bounce off of support. All right, so there's UNG, USO. All right, USO taking out this high, this high, this high, this high. Really doing a great job. Having a pullback. I said they need to cool off, all right? And they are, or consolidate, okay? And doesn't look like they want to consolidate. Looks like they want to cool off. So they're having a pullback. Again, look for support to hold on the top of these peaks right here. We got a peak, goes up right here, right there. Another peak that starts here, this valley, comes out of the valley, makes another peak up there. Again, comes out of the valley, makes another peak up here. Look for support around this 78.57 area, okay? Like to see some support show up, the bulls show up, maybe a possible J hook back up here. And instead of going up and giving it up, maybe go up next time and hold the higher ground. That would be nice. All right, so there's USO closing up in quadrant 4. Yesterday's price action, you can see is an inside. Friday's price action was an inside day. It's a lower high and a higher low, closing over bullish trap and over the 17 EMA, pulling back some today on USO. Precious metals, both in uptrends. All right. Yeah, both in uptrends. Silver, Friday's price action. Lower high, lower low, closing in the bullish trap over the 17 EMA. Trying to break out of the bears zone down here. Need to break over the midpoint. Need to get over this 12-year high anchored VWAP. Okay, silver's in an uptrend. See if they can melt up through this 12-year high anchored VWAP. All right, so making a higher low and a higher high, that's an uptrend. Okay, GLD on the daily chart anyways. GLD also in an uptrend. Okay, we've got a high. They made a higher high. Okay, so gold in an uptrend right there. Price action, okay, for gold. All right, for Friday, lower high, lower low, closing over a bullish trap, over hooking 17 EMA, over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Very interesting now. Okay, see now, notice now we're holding for more than 5 days over the all-time high anchored VWAP. This is probably one you want to keep an eye on. If you get a pullback to the 8, that would present some opportunity. Pull back to the 3, not so much, but it does still present opportunity at the 3. Preferably back at the 8 and the 17 would be really nice pullbacks, seeing the bulls step in on those areas right there. Or right back here at the all-time high anchored VWAP. All right, again, you want the bulls to show up, okay? We don't want to buy bearish candles and be bullish, all right, because the bulls are controlling price. Excuse me, the bears would be controlling price in a red candle, okay? Unless, of course, it was nothing but a bottoming tail candle, that would be bulls operating for the most part inside that candle. Okay, so there's GLD. Let's take a look at a few sectors. SMH bullish over the all-time high anchored VWAP up in quadrant 4. Looking good for SMH. Still in this 5-month consolidation right through there in quadrant 4. XLK, technology sector, up here in quadrant 4, leaning on the all-time high anchored VWAP. Again, consolidating and holding the higher ground on technology up in quadrant 4. Okay, technically in a downtrend, but acting very bullish here, holding the higher ground, leaning on the all-time high anchored VWAP. Okay, same with SMH. All right, up over the all-time high anchored VWAP, holding the higher ground. Okay, remember we came from here and we moved up, and we're holding this area up here. All right, so like to see a breakout. We'll see what happens. All right, that's SMH, XLK. Let's take a look at XLF. XLF in an uptrend. Still, they didn't break this low. There's a pullback. XLF on the daily chart. Okay, XLF is yesterday's Friday's price action, higher low, higher high, closing over the trap, over the falling 17 and over the all-time high anchored VWAP. 3 to 5 days hanging out up here is a bullish outlook. XLF getting it done. All right. Almost, yeah, still in that uptrend because they didn't take out the downtrend down here. Okay, so, or you could say they're in an uptrend because they took out that high. Didn't go over the 17 though, so still in an uptrend right there. Okay, XLF. Let's take a look at XLI. XLI still in a downtrend. All right, price action just having a pullback right now. XLI, they broke this low and this low, put them in a downtrend. Right now, they'd have to take out the all-time highs to be in an uptrend, or create a lower high and take it out, okay, with the bullish candles. All right, so there's XLI, still in a downtrend, but not moving down any longer, all right, price action, all right, it's moving in an upward direction, okay, over the all-time high anchored VWAP, higher low, higher high, closing over the trap, over the hooking 17 there, back up in quadrant 4, let's look in neutral bullish up there, that's XLI. XLU in an uptrend, okay, taking out this high right here, got a high that comes up over the 17, we make a higher high, that's an uptrend. They were in a downtrend when they took out this low, now they're in an uptrend, they took out this high, price action, higher low, higher high, closing over the falling 17 or hooking 17, closing over the all-time high anchored VWAP, all right, closing up here in the upper third, all right, that's bullish. So XLU in an uptrend, now bullish. All right, let's take a look at XRT, retail sector, moving up, giving it up, so just neutral right here. All right, so moved up, gave it up. Okay, nothing says they can't move it up back up here again. All right, so just kind of neutral, still in that uptrend. They haven't broke this low, so they're still in that uptrend. They're just not moving up right now. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. We'll see what happens. This XRT in an uptrend, but definitely not moving up. All right, so they were up and holding the higher ground. No longer are they up. All right, let's take a look at IYT, and then we'll hit the economic package. All right, transports. Okay, Friday's price action, outside day, higher high, lower low, closing inside a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. Price action right here this morning, putting us back up into quadrant 4. All right, transports in an uptrend because they took out this high right there. They made a higher high. See the higher low, making a higher high. That puts them in an uptrend. They closed underneath this all-time high anchored VWAP, but you can see the day before on Thursday they closed over it. You can see in the pre-market right now we're over it, so like to see price action kind of consolidate in the upper third and eventually melt their way back up into quadrant 4 and challenge some of these prior highs up here. Maybe that breakdown candle high, that would be nice for them to get all the way back up there. But you can see here was the uptrend line, okay, and it's just made by connecting the lows. That's all it is, okay, and you can see that would be diagonal support because every time price came into it at that time, all right, it bounced up and away from it. Came into it, bounced up and away. Came back to it and bounced up and away. See, came back near it, up and away. Okay, so that's diagonal support. You can see them breaking that uptrend line here. Maybe they start another one that goes up further. We'll see what happens. Here's the transports on the daily chart. Now in an uptrend. Let's hit the economic package. Dollar in an uptrend, making higher lows right here and higher highs. Making higher lows and higher highs. Closed Sunday or Monday right here, 108.10 area. Okay, so that would be, yeah, that was Monday, all right? So closed right there, all right? So let's take a look at earnings report. Actually, let's go ahead and look at the economic calendar. Really light week this week, okay? We had Martin Luther King Day, talking about freedom, all right? Let's talk about financial freedom, all right? That's why we're all here, okay? Financial freedom. Okay, just as important as regular freedom. Okay, so financial freedom, good fitting day. All right, start this. If you're a trial member, it's a nice fitting day. Start your week off right after Martin Luther King Day. Okay, so Economic Journal, nothing going on today. On Wednesday, all right, MBA mortgage applications at 7. That's not going to move the market. Leading indicators at 10. That's not going to move the markets a whole lot. Thursday, the 23rd, jobless claims at 8:30. Gas report at 10:30. Petroleum report at 12. Federal balance sheet at 4. Okay, so nothing here really going to move the markets all that much, unless, of course, jobless claims come in like way out of line. I don't see that happening. Okay, we've got some new policies coming in, and we need people. We need qualified people to work those all of those new positions. All right, it's going to be probably a whole lot of hiring on the government side. All right, PMI Friday the 24th. PMI composite flash 9:45. Existing home sales at 10. Consumer sentiment at 10. All right, so really light week. All right, so if the bulls want to get something done this week, this is the week to do it, because there's very little economic data coming out that could squash them. All right, let's take a look at the earnings. All right, we'll start off with Monday. You can see familiar names, but nothing that's going to move the markets. Tuesday, Netflix coming out. Remember, it's tech. So tech comes out in the evening. Banks come out most of the time in the morning. All right, so tech, $360 billion. Okay, that's capable of kind of maybe twisting the technology sector around a little bit. All right, Netflix. All right, that's a big holding there. That's $1/3 trillion. A bank supposed to report 148 billion. Schwab's going to report, another bank. Okay, investment banking. Schwab, 138 billion. All right, Prologis. There's some more tech. Pretty sure that's tech. They're going to report in the morning. $102 billion. All right. So the big one, Netflix, $360 billion. That reports this evening, tonight, after the close. Okay, it's tonight after the close. Wednesday, all right, tomorrow, Procter & Gamble, $377 billion. Johnson & Johnson, $355 billion. Abbott Labs, $197 billion. Progressive Corporation, I think that's insurance. They're not committed to their time yet. GE Vernova, all right, $102 billion. ICIC, I think that's Carl Icahn's business, $101 billion. We all remember him back in the 70s and 80s. All right, so some market movers coming in tomorrow morning. All right, Procter & Gamble, J&J, Abbott Labs. All right, going to show up tomorrow morning. All right, with some data that could move the markets there in the healthcare sector. We'll see what happens. Thursday, Intuitive Surgical, $208 billion. GE Aerospace, $194 billion. Texas Instruments, in the evening, $170 billion. So Intuitive Surgical and Texas Instruments in the evening on Thursday. GE Aerospace in the morning, $194 billion. Union Pacific, little railway action going on, $142 billion. And the rest of these familiar names like Freeport-McMoRan, Northern Trust, McCormick, okay? All familiar names, all right, but not going to move the markets as big as the big caps do. Okay, Friday, American Express, another financial, Verizon, Communications, okay? American Express reports in the morning, $219 billion. Verizon, 160, I think this is $161 billion. And then NextEra Energy, $146 billion, if my eyes are right. And on Monday, we'll worry about Monday when we get through with this week. So tonight, Netflix. Tomorrow, Procter & Gamble, J&J, Abbott Labs. All right, so those are the ones on deck. Okay, tonight, Netflix. Tomorrow morning, Procter, J&J, Abbott Labs. All right, for Max Payne, for the 21st, 590. All right, that represents a big pullback. One put for each call that expires today at 4 p.m. regarding the SPY. All right, so that's it right now. Okay, so I'm going to go render my video. Remember, all you newbies out there, tomorrow morning I'm going to have an orientation, going to have a list of things, and I want you to get the most out of the room. All right, so we're going to have a little orientation tomorrow morning. Please be here. It will be recorded if you cannot make it. All right, so right after we do the morning video, we're going to go through the orientation tomorrow morning. All right, because I want you all to succeed. All right, so I'm going to take a little break here. I got to render my video. I'll be back on in like 35 minutes. All right.